If I put $100 million in a presidential election, of course I want to say.
Trump is talking about make in America. Everything cannot be made in America. The few powerful people will take up the cartel and the mafia, because if you leave other people with 10%, they can only play with 10%.
We have to start doing innovations in India, because we have to start looking not just to be adapters of change in the world, but also enablers in the long term.
As the world and India await for Donald Trump to take over as the next US president, there's one question on everybody's mind. Will Donald Trump 2.0 start another trade war with the world, filled with tariffs and sanctions? Or will it be the war of Elon Musk 1.0? Amidst all this, where does India stand? Where does our Atmanirbhar Bharat stand? More so, where do we stand in this new world order? My name is Abhinav, ladies and gentlemen, and you're watching Alt View, a show where we talk on the burning issues of today with the generation of tomorrow. And today, we are at IIFT Delhi. Let's go and ask these pertinent questions to future entrepreneurs and managers in the world of international trade and finance. Let's go. Okay, hello IIFT! Hello! There you go. That's the noise which I'm talking about. Okay guys, hi. My name is Abhinav. We're from Mint and we are here to talk trade. In the era of Donald Trump, how difficult or how easy will it be for a country like India to navigate? Before we start, I'll introduce my guest.
Naveen Pathak. I represent a company called Entry USA, based out of New Jersey, helping Indian companies to expand and establish their business in the US market.
Great. We have two faculties from your college who will also join us. Ma'am, your name please.
Hi, I'm Dr. Preeti from Marketing Discipline.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm Dr. Pooja. I'm from the HR discipline.
After Donald Trump has come into power, where do you see the global dynamics going? I mean, not only politically, but even commercially, finance, business. Do you see policies being shaped in India's favor, or India is at a disadvantage?
Look at Donald Trump's anecdotes. There's a very good personal relation with Narendra Modi. So if India can start to leverage that relationship, because Trump is one who's not shy of putting a tariff if you're not performing well. So if we can have that connect with Donald Trump on a personal level, which I think Narendra Modi can do, India can be a huge winner out of this.
I want to see how the tariff system works, like what are the taxes that will be introduced and how can India leverage that and come out as one of the most strongest supporters, not just of USA, but of the global economic trade that we are talking about.
India can be one of those countries which can utilize China plus one policy very judiciously.
Politically, we are going towards a more beneficial sector, but if we look into the trade and commerce, I think it will be difficult for India in terms of Trump government.
I believe India already has a very large domestic driven economy, and that is why we are very, very safe from global economic shocks as well. So even if there are a lot of tariffs that are imposed on India, I think India can very much sustain its own production and drive its growth moving forward.
Okay, you want to think?
Previous term of Donald Trump, India was very close to have a mini trade deal with USA, but it was not going to happen because of COVID. But now we have chances to form a new deal with USA, which will be benefiting our own exports with USA, and we can do well in the sectors like pharmaceutical and IT.
So the whole world is looking at India as an alternate for China for the manufacturing hub of the world, because no other country has that much lower labor cost and population and that power to upskill like India.
So you have to look at Trump's behavior. He's very transactional. So what does mean is ek haath le, ek haath de, right? So with that sort of mindset, whatever strategies he will put into, or wherever he will label India, or whichever category for 20% tariffs increase, that's what he's saying, or 60% for China. So this will work out in the favor of India. It can, though it's going to increase the cost, but not everything that US can do with its manufacturing. So there are pressure points which India can leverage. So to your point, can India do that? I mean, just a parallel to that, it depends on us, and of course it will come out from the policies, but how we implement those policies, with respect to the skill sets we have. For example, in 2018, China built a train station or put together a train station in 9 hours, and that was in 2018. Now, can we do something like that? When my question is can, yes. Would we be able to? Maybe.
That's a big question mark.
Yes.
If I remove the legal and illegal part, do you believe that international trade works like a mafia? You know, the most powerful ones take the plum share and the people who are at disadvantage do not.
The few powerful people will take up the cartel and the mafia, because if you leave other people with 10%, they can only play with 10%. So I think absolutely.
I mean, let's talk about the US sanctions on Russia. Russia was a threat. It was becoming a superpower once again, and they found the perfect opportunity to eliminate Russia out of the context. With something that was going on with Russia and Ukraine, the West absolutely penetrated in, did what they wanted to do, and this is exactly what mafia feeling is.
Okay, very fair point, yes.
Talking about how they're applying major tariffs on products from China, this somewhere or the other helps India in the picture, because India can be can send the same kind of material to USA. However, this also tells us how bullying actually works.
So, to talk about the mafia thing, I'd like to quote Mexico's example. Since USA is putting tariffs on China, major part of the exports from China go to Mexico. Over there, say maybe if you get a plank of wood and a couple of table legs, they put it together, make a table out of it, and then they'll export it to the USA, because Mexico is part of the NAFTA treaty. So that's how they're avoiding tariffs, and I think that is how the whole mafia thing works.
Talking about the trade of particular item, it is legal or illegal, but there are certain agencies and organizations which are built to safeguard the interest of the countries, such as we have World Trade Organization, we have SAARC, we have ASEAN. Those are the organizations which ensures, even if there are countries which is trying to build their dominance, these are the countries safeguard the interest of the other nations. So I particularly believe we have these organizations which will safeguard the interest of the other countries.
So for sure that there will be set up some organizations which will try to safeguard countries, but what we need to understand is that even if we take, let's say, the example of World Trade Organization, it is influenced significantly by the US.
Yes.
And recently Trump gave out a statement, or it was a statement from his government, that they will be pulling out from the Paris Agreement, and the net zero goal will probably be delayed even after 2050. So although there is an agreement which does safeguard, but if a superpower like US does not adhere to it and is pulling out of it, then it does not really safeguard and does not serve the purpose that it was built for.
Let me put it in a different way. Are there any business houses in India who are into every business? I mean, do they give a fair chance to somebody else? But that's the answer. So yes, it's not going to be fair if it is a trade. Technically, you want, ek haath le ek haath de. You want it. You want equal trade. But yes, the people in the power or privileged, let's say, so they take advantage.
Where do you see US policies going from here? In terms of trade, in terms of business, in terms of tariffs? What do you think is about to happen?
One real example, semiconductors. USA is dependent, India is dependent, everyone is dependent. USA is stopping legally, illegally or whatever ways Taiwan not to export the semiconductors to China is one of the things which we see that where the shift in policy is going. The
semiconductors?
Yes.
Okay.
So, as we know, USA will be invoking some old rule where there will be kind of emergency in USA. There is the latest news from Trump, and it will make sure all the illegal immigrants will be thrown out of the USA.
Okay.
So it also makes sure that they are trying to give resources to their people.
I want opinions from this side. You guys can't be Samajwadi Party.
I believe that honestly it will have an effect. The policies of America are now going towards promoting Elon Musk, and it won't be a shocker for everyone if Elon Musk turns out to be the house of all these things that America wants to do itself. For example, pharmaceuticals. It is something that America is dependent on the other countries a lot. But considering that Trump is in power and Elon Musk is his biggest supporter, it won't be a shocker if there are policies that are favoring Elon Musk, and he might venture into this sector as well.
So what US has, or what Trump intends to do, is also impose a 100 to 200% duty on the automobile imports from Mexico, because a lot of Chinese manufacturing units are set up there, and a lot of cross-border illegal transaction happens.
Okay.
So what Trump has said, that 100 to 200% tariff on automobiles and a 25% tariff on all the other goods.
So one sector I'd like to talk about is the social media sector. So Elon Musk currently is the owner of X, and Twitter previously had a lot of policy issues, and when Elon Musk came to the helm, he fired a lot of people. There were sudden changes. So I think with Donald Trump at his side, there can be rapid changes, something that might not be good for the greater good, but sudden changes might happen.
Elon Musk voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016 and for Biden in 2020. So he is a convert. He converted. Now you are voting for a party or you are voting for a person. Now in this case he is voting for a person. And who the person is? Trump in this case. So if you look at Trump's, not the hard skill side, but the way he influences his voters to vote for him is protectionism. Right? Nationalism, deregulation. So now that's where I see the match with Elon Musk, not so much with the Republican Party, but to a person.
If you see when it comes to economics or international economics per se, there are economic compulsions. So even if one individual or two individuals have a specific philosophy, business do not work in that manner.
Okay.
So I do agree that when it comes to the current regime, there are specific sectors who will be looking more inwards. They may have higher tariffs as well, which may be effective. Indian companies specifically will be effective. The specific sectors are automotive, electronics, pharmaceuticals,
Space technology, and also defense, because I think US survives primarily on sale of defense and technology, and we see their participation, and I think overall it might also lead to a lot of global unrest. I see more wars.
With Elon Musk, we already know that Tesla is a thing, and Tesla, other than automobiles, is very big in energy. There has been a pattern with Trump that whenever he comes to power, the nuclear imports go down, and specifically for that sector, Elon Musk coincidentally is very high on solar. So I expect in future that the nuclear imports would go down, and US's production of energy via solar would increase.
Now, where does this leave Atmanirbhar Bharat? Where does this leave Atmanirbhar Bharat? I mean, we are talking about sectors where America started looking inwards. We are talking about a market where India plays a prominent role. I mean, we've had US, one of the biggest trading partners for the longest time. Where does that leave Atmanirbhar Bharat? And how can we shield ourselves from this turmoil?
All the expansion that has to happen in the US has already happened, and now they are looking at other markets and other countries across the world, be it in the sector of automobiles or be it in the sector of satellite communication. So when we talk about the Indian perspective, very recently Starlink tried to come into India, and Indian telecom companies defended that. So that aspect comes into play in terms of Atmanirbhar Bharat. On one hand, we want our communication to be indigenous, and we want it to be of the highest and the most advanced manner possible. But do we have the research? Do we have the money to do that? Starlink has.
Well, coming to the Atmanirbhar Bharat is basically the protectionist policy of India. So it's a good opportunity for us to be more self-reliant when it comes to defense sector, when it comes to exporting agriculture, because these are the space where there is a huge untapped potential for India.
We can really capitalize on this opportunity. Trump is talking about Make in America. Everything cannot be made in America. We took automobiles for example. We can make automobiles parts, sell that to the American companies. So this is an opportunity for India, because anyways they want to shift out of China.
I think in the long term we have to look at that we have to start doing innovations in India, because we have to start looking not just to be adopters of change in the world, but also enablers in the long term, because that is where India has missed in the last 7 decades, that we have always adopted to technologies, and that is one thing we have to really start working on right now. Because if you see, China did that. China capitalized on where people lacked. So India as an economy needs to do that going in the future, if we want to protect ourselves and not be affected by any turmoil in the world going forward.
India is one of the countries which has the least amount of investment in R&D comparing with the global counterparts, and obviously
on the front of a skill, India don't have that kind of a skill. India have a better higher education, and we do have a lot of labor. But the semi-skill is a very, very large gap in India. And to have industries come to India, have that infrastructural investment, they need that kind of semi-skilled laborers who will go and work in the factory.
As we can see, India's education infrastructure is not at all good. If you go to the basic level, the foundation is not good. The government schools are not at all good. There are private schools which are very good, but the income of the lower class is not increasing so much that they can send their children to these schools. So how they are going to grow and support this foundation so that India can build on this?
I mean, primarily I feel the biggest problem is that there is a very big disconnect between what is being taught and what is required for work. So that is the main thing that I feel we need a major reform in our education.
Who is the real US president? Is it Donald Trump or is it Elon Musk? You go.
We'll start with an example. Everyone remembers Antonio Fauci. So he was the health minister there, fired just like that when he was not supporting Trump for the hydroxychloroquine issue and the other things. Also we see like US democracy is somewhere, at par and taking policies implementation very seriously. Once the policy is implemented, be it your Twitter, be it X, be it any company, if you are to be sacked once, you will be sacked once. Policy is the game, policy is the king there. Whatever lobby you do, be it defense, be it your arms, be it anything. Even if Elon Musk goes against Trump, he'll be there just a money, right? Money is also with Trump.
Let's talk about the narrative that was there before the elections until Musk joined the Trump party. It was the Democrats winning by a country mile, and the day Musk comes into the picture, you see that the full force of X is there. You can already see that Musk is driving narratives from the beginning itself. And now what I believe is that you're going to see a US-centric focus, but you're going to have a special Musk bias included in between it. So if you feel that your president is still unbiased and he's leading it, they're talking about money. Trump has 6 billion, Musk has approximately 50 times that. So I feel money trumps.
Power still remains with Donald Trump, as Donald Trump is more of a strong personality which we had as a president in the last few decades. So he's too strong to be overshadowed by Elon Musk. He'll be acting as a channel for Donald Trump to propagate its idea and be in the shadows.
I'll just take two personal examples that were shared. If I put $100 million in a presidential election, of course I want to say that is what Musk does. Second is YouTube video put out by Donald Trump's granddaughter, in which it can clearly be seen on the night that Trump won. In his personal family photo, he had, and I quote, these are Trump's words, that let's get Elon and his child, because those people are my family as well. Who do you say this on the night that brings you the most glory? Of course, the person who made you one, who brought you to that. So first of all, I'd clearly say if Musk comes into play, why is it that when the Ukrainian president congratulated Trump when he won, the first thing that Trump said was thank you, and the second thing that he did was he passed the phone to Musk.
Students of IIFT have practical opinions when it comes to foreign trade. Of course, being students of foreign trade, they believe in the India story, but they also believe that the power of India lies in executing its policies rightly and not just framing them. This is all from this episode of All View, ladies and gentlemen. I, along with my team, shall see you in another college with another subject. Until then, Shabba Khair. Bye-bye.